all my South Orange Mayport listeners, and all those other listeners in the towns of Milburn, Livingston, Irvington, West Orange, East Orange, Orange and Newark. Welcome to In the Village with Anselm on the South Orange Mayport Online Radio Experience and live on the World Wide Web at somore.org. And the only radio show covering all your news, opinions, politics, talk, and sports happening in the South Orange Mayport communities. You can listen to us every Monday through Friday from 8 to 9:30 p.m. That's Monday through Friday from 8 to 9:30 p.m. And reach us at 973-327-3626. That's 973-327-3626 to participate in the discussion. We have an interesting program lined up for you this evening, and I look forward to your participation in the discussion. Now, tonight, we're going to get into a subject where we talk about, in the communities of South Orange and Maplewood, I believe that education is of significant importance to communities like South Orange and Maplewood. And there are many reasons why. When you have a sound and excellent education system, we have people clamoring to move into these communities. When that happens, you get good value for your property. Whenever you have an excellent education system, the properties are normally sky high. And we can see that in South Orange and Maplewood. We have a lot of very expensive properties in these two communities. And of course, the train station, the railroad, the Midtown Express plays a significant role as well. But if you ask many individuals, why do they move to a community like South Orange and Maplewood? One of the main things they will tell you is about the education system. And that's significantly very important. Now, for this past week, the big discussion in South Orange and Maplewood is the article in the Washington Post by Jay Matthews, titled that, Why Can His Daughter Take AP Classes? Why can his daughter take AP Calculus? If you don't know about that article, please go to the WashingtonPost.com and just put in the search box, why can his daughter take AP classes? And that's talking about a gentleman by the name of Walter Fields, his 15-year-old daughter, who is a sophomore at Columbia High School in Maplewood, where she scored advanced proficient and state math tests in middle school and received an A in algebra in the 8th grade. And there were many reasons why many people were saying that she was removed, so to speak, or didn't get the AP classes that she should have gotten. Now, as you know, in the Village with Anselm on the South Orange Mayport Online Radio Experience, we like to do a little bit of research just to make sure that we have our facts correct. And we bring to you many of the statistics from the New Jersey Department of Education regarding the South Orange Mayport School District. And many people may ask the question, well, Anselm, why are you so interested in education? And let me tell you why I am so interested in education. And I'm going to use myself as an example. And you're going to get a little history about Anselm LeBourne. Now, I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago. And the area where I grew up in Trinidad was one of the poorest areas in Trinidad. If you ask anyone, you don't have to be from Trinidad You can ask anyone about Laventil. Just anyone that you know from Trinidad and Tobago, just ask them about Laventil. It's Laventillle. And they will tell you about Laventil. It wouldn't mean something nice, I guarantee you. It's one of the poorest areas in Trinidad and Tobago. I was able to come to the United States of America, whereas that if I had stayed in Trinidad and Tobago, I am not sure what type of individual I would have turned out to be. I really don't know, because I didn't have much as far as education is concerned. And my mother only graduated from high school. But she instilled into us that it was important for us to get an education. So while being in Trinidad, I was lackadaisical. I wasn't that interested in school. But then I came to the United States of America in 1977. And I felt this was my way to make a life for myself and hopefully be able to help my mother. And by the way, I grew up in a single parent household as well. So it was a single mother with 6 kids. And we came to the United States of America, landed in Brooklyn, July 4th, 1977. And once I set foot in the United States of America, I decided that the most important thing that I need to do in order to make a life for myself is to try to get a college education. And how would I do that? My mom could not afford 1 credit for me to go to college because she was working in a factory. So she couldn't afford 1 college credit for me to go to college. So as a young 17-year-old boy from Trinidad and Tobago, the poorest areas, I decided that I had to go back to high school. Now think about it. I'm a 17, 18-year-old kid from Trinidad and Tobago, already graduated from high school in Trinidad, and I had to go back to high school in the United States of America. Now, my only means of getting to college, I believe, was through track and field. Because I didn't think that there was any other way I could actually go to college. Because remember, my mom could not pay for 1 credit in order for me to go to school. So on my own, I decided to seek out one of the best track and field school in Brooklyn, New York. I had many questions. I asked around all different people. People told me Utrecht. People told me Wingate. People told me Erasmus. But one school I keep hearing about was a school called Boys and Girls High School. Many people know it as Boys High. I keep hearing over and over about Boys and Girls High School, Boys and Girls High School. So it so happened, one day I was running on the track on Rutland Road. That's where the old Boys High School track is located, on Rutland Road, between Troy and Schenectady. I was running there, and it so happened that the high school coach of Boys and Girls High School was there training some of the kids during the summer. So I approached him and I said, my name, I gave him my name. I told him I just came from Trinidad, and I would like to see if I could get into Boys and Girls High School. But there was a problem. The problem was, we lived in a certain area in Brooklyn that was not zoned for Boys and Girls High School. And all I am thinking about, ladies and gentlemen, all I am thinking about is, how am I going to get to college? That's all I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm thinking about getting an education, going to college. It so happened that the track coach told me, well, you know, you don't live in the area. How are you going to get to go to Boys and Girls High School? Well, we devised a plan, and I'm being honest here. I used an address, and I still remember the address very vividly. 1435 Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn, New York. I had to use that address in order to get into Boys and Girls High School. And now remember, I had to remember that address. So we used that address, and I was accepted into Boys and Girls High School. And just when I thought that I'm on my way, here's where the problem started. The first thing they wanted to do, remember now, this is Boys and Girls High School in Bedford-Stuyvesant. So I signed up for my classes, and they gave me a math class, was a remedial math class. Because they told me, you know, kids that have come from the Caribbean, you know, they tend to be a little slow, so we have to give them remedial math class. Now, if I should take a remedial math class, that means to say that I would have to spend almost an extra year at Boys and Girls High School. I did not have that time. And no, remember now, this is a 17, 18-year-old kid dealing with all these things for himself because my parents had no clue about high school. So I said to the advisor, I said, what can I do in order for me to get the highest math class? He said, well, you just can't come in and take the math class. You got to take a test, and we will give you the second tier class, the class that's just below the highest class. And if you do well in that class, we will think about putting you in the highest class. Anyway, I took the test. I scored a 95 on the test. They said, okay, maybe you're not that bad. So they put me in the second tier class, one level below the highest class. Remember now, all I'm thinking about is I have to get to college. I only have 1 year to spend in Boys and Girls High School. So I got in that class, and I started telling the teacher, I said, you know, this class is too easy for me. I have done this work in Trinidad and Tobago. She said, there's no way you could have done this work. This is one level below the most advanced math class we have at Boys and Girls High School. I said, well, what do I have to do? The teacher said, okay, we're going to give you, when you take the first 1 or 2 tests, if you score, we'll see how you score, and then we'll think about moving you up to the next level. So the first test came, I scored a 96. The second test came, I scored a 97. So they said, okay, we can now move you up to the highest level class in math, because all I'm thinking about is graduation. Now everything else went okay. I was running. I was doing really excellent in the running.